Badass Attitudes, licensed here. A podcast for successful badassery with Kelly Orchard. Certifying badasses, one podcast at a time.
That's right. I am certifying badasses one podcast at a time. So I'm sitting here kind of like doing a little bit of work. See, part of my reason for wanting to work remotely was to dispel some distractions that normally come throughout the day, right? Kind of a change of perspective, and you kind of change things around, and I find myself with less to do than normal. And so that usually gets me into some trouble. So I thought, while I'm here, I'm going to do a podcast because I have nothing better to do. I'm actually looking out the window. Here it is, the end of April, and it's literally pouring down rain here in Texas. It's not cold. It's like 66 degrees. It's not cold, wet weather. It's just, typical Texas, my daughter calls it bipolar weather. You never really can tell what Texas is going to do. And so it's refreshing. It's definitely different. It gives me a sense of feeling of being on a family vacation because, in the summertime when I was a young kid, we traveled the country in a motorhome. And so this kind of weather, which is unlike Southern California weather, always seems like vacation to me because I was born and raised in Southern California. And so any kind of weather change is huge and significant to somebody like me. Did you know that I was born in Los Angeles? Yeah, actually, I was born in the San Fernando Valley. Did you know that I am originally a Valley girl? I am like, what would they call that? I am the GOAT, the greatest of all time of Valley girls. Well, I guess I really can't say that. There's other Valley girls who can claim it much more than I can, but I'm like that cool Valley chick. I'm not like the Valley girl where we go shopping and stuff, even though I did do that. But I was also the cool rocker chick, surfer chick kind of Valley girl. So anyway, I digress. So anyway, the point is I'm completely out of my element here, and I have a new project that I'm working on, but it's fun. All of my projects are fun. I am a creative person, and I came out here to create something new for myself, get a change of perspective. The world has changed. I'm not saying the world is changing. I'm saying the world has changed. And like seasons, we can change also. And so here I am in a seasonal difference here in springtime. Wow, that was a really great segue. I didn't plan that. I really didn't. This is just me just randomly having a conversation with you. But, the seasons do change. And so I've been working on, my digital program and getting out some help for you. Because the one thing I do know with all of my psychotherapist colleagues, that there's few and far between now that have any kind of availability. And a lot more people are continuing to call and want mental health services. So guess what, folks? I've got the tools for you in my toolbox, and I've got a program for you that if you can't find a therapist, I can definitely still help you transform your life, help you recalibrate your life, because the last 2 years have been tough on all of us. So no matter who or where you are, you've been through a rough time. And your mental health should be your top priority right now. After all you've been through, I just want to ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to recalibrate and focus on what really matters to you? That's why I came out here. It's one of the reasons why I came out here to Texas, but what is really important to me? Clearly, my grandchildren. I let you know that I raised my kids as a single mom. And I'm a true definition of a single mom, as their dad was not in the picture. So I raised my 3 children by myself, with the help of family members and stuff like that, but primarily alone. But now I am reaping the benefits, the rewards of all of my labors, the fruits of my labors with my grandchildren. I am the grandmother of 5 now, and each and every one of them are my favorite people. They call me Pook. And I have a brand new grandson, Emmett, who is just 5 weeks old. And so that's why I'm out here in Texas. This is where half of my family lives, out here in Texas. My third grandchild was born out here in Texas. So I decided I am going to try this whole remote working thing. I've kind of been working remotely for a lot of years, but this is like the opposite effect, where I actually have an office where I see people, they come to my office, but now I have left my office and I'm working in another location. So the people aren't coming to my office. Whereas before I was working remotely, where I would go and visit radio or television stations. And for several years, for quite a few years, this was a business I did with my dad. We traveled in an RV and we traveled to the radio and television stations that we were going to work with, or, work on their FCC compliance work. So this kind of work is not foreign to me. It feels like hand to glove, like it's meant to be. And so this is part of my strategy for the next couple of years, is to completely simplify my world, buy a trailer, and work remotely most of the time. No, I'm not going to give up my office at Michelle's place. I love Michelle's place and I will always stay there. That will be my home base. But I'm also going to have a trailer. But we're talking about seasons of change today, changing your season, recalibrating your life. The goals that you may have set 3, 4, 5 years ago, even a year ago, I bet you don't no longer apply. 2, 3, 5 years ago, I would not have thought about what I'm doing right now. Nope, I wouldn't have. But now it's a refreshing change from basically you see your dreams slip right out from under you, right? It's like, okay, how am I going to make that happen? And, oftentimes in our lives, when something doesn't happen that we want to happen, we think, well, if I just work harder, or if I just try this or I try that maybe it'll end up happening. But, it could go either way. I've seen people like, for example, it's like my brother wanted to be, have a record deal signed by the time he was 18. And when that didn't happen, did he give up on his music career? Maybe for a time, sort of, you know what I mean? But is that really a realistic expectation to set a goal for? If I don't have a record deal, or I don't have this happen, if I haven't bought a house or got married or had a kid by X age, if I haven't become a superstar or an author or whatever by this age, then I guess I'm never going to do it. That is not true at all. So this is a time where, if you're listening to this, and you are, if you badass, you particular, you get the chance to rewrite your narrative for your future. So if money was not the object at all, what do you want to do? Now, a lot of people I know don't even know. They have no clue whatsoever. And I can honestly say, been there. When my heart began to fail, and this is 2006, I didn't know what I was going to do. I saw my entire life just flash before my eyes. No, I didn't die. I could have died, but my life was derailed. I wasn't well. It wasn't a one-time event and then I had surgery and it was repaired. No, this was a 2.5-year battle to regain my health. So for 2.5 years, I was completely in suspended animation, so to speak, but not really, but completely aware of what's going on around me. But I didn't know what I wanted to do either with my life, what was going to happen after, once my doctor said you're cured. What was I going to do now? I didn't even know. Say, well, okay, I'll become a therapist. I didn't even know what that meant, honestly. So the reason I'm telling you this is that here I am doing a podcast from a trailer in Texas. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I work a few days a week working with clients. I love my work. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm writing. I'm doing more and different creative things. Oh, and I have 5 grandchildren. This is all that has occurred just since I made the decision after my heart failure that I wasn't going to let that defeat me. Okay. So whatever has happened, whatever rug has been pulled out from under you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances, your job, your work, your business, whatever it is, it's not over for you. You just got to allow yourself to rethink and recalibrate. And guess what? I got the program for you. I do. I have the program for you. And so over the last few days, I've been working on the marketing strategy with my virtual assistant to make it happen. And so I'm super excited about it. I'm really only looking for 5 to 10 men or women. I got to make sure I put the men out there because I don't know what it is. That maybe because I'm a female, men think I only work with females with this whole badass brand. And they're like, can we be badass too? Or is it just for women? It's like, it's for men too. So men and women. All right. So it's basically, it's not really anything fancy. I'm not calling it anything fancy. It's just my, badass summer program. So this summer, you have the opportunity to, take this, an e-learning 6-week program for self-paced, self-study system of tools for your personal mental health toolbox. All right. So as you grow, these tools will grow with you. So basically, you got 26 videos and accompanying worksheets. That's right. So it's like a book and some videos, self-paced, relatable steps, repeatable steps, and all within. First of all, you'll get my online badass certification class, which I'll teach you how to create your badass soundtrack, and you'll get your own badass ID card. That's right. You put it in your wallet and it shows that you are a certified badass. We're going to identify your strengths and grow your confidence. We're going to identify your goals and cultivate positive measures to get there. New, fresh goals, easy to achieve. We're going to weed out what's not working in your life so you can fertilize and grow what is working. Then we're going to prune back old behaviors and unrealistic expectations to make way for success. Then let's plant some new seeds for personal growth. Create your action plan for success. Focus on what's important right now so that you can live intentionally, learn your true purpose and passion, gain clarity, confidence, and new skills, and achieve your ultimate goal and recalibrate your badassery. Plus, I'm going to give you all 5 of my books, Heart Lessons and the 4 Apple a Day books. Also, did you know that the 6th book is about ready to be published? So who knows? I might just throw that in there as well also. But you'll get that daily nourishment for wisdom, success, and personal growth. And it also includes the journal pages to track your growth. You know what else I'm going to throw in on this deal? A badass water bottle, coffee mug, stickers, and buttons so you can display your successful badassery. And when it is all done, you're going to get your own personalized license to be badass diploma. Yeah, a diploma that you can hang on the wall. But you know what else? We're going to do group Zoom coaching calls with me, interactive. And during those calls, we're going to study the heart math method. I'm going to teach you how to utilize heart math to get into coherence and reduce the negative impact that stress has on your body. Teaching you the tools. We'll continue to work on the music for your badass soundtrack. And we're going to be working on some emotional intelligence. So those Zoom group coaching calls are always going to be something that you want to join in on because it's going to teach you the tools to help you feel good and feel better. In fact, what I'm giving you is a whole new set of baggage. That's right. I joke around about this with some of my clients when they say, I want to unpack my baggage, or I want a relationship where they have no baggage and you better have unpacked your baggage. You get it, right? The whole get rid of your baggage. I got news for you. Everybody has baggage that they carry around. If they're at any age in their life at all, you've got some baggage. So it's just a matter of unpacking it, looking at it, and just kind of repackaging it up and then carrying it appropriately. So what I'm going to give you is a bunch of tools to help you do that. And we're going to repack your baggage. And then you can go out and find your matching set. I know. I use a lot of alliterations and metaphors. I enjoy that. I'm sorry. Don't deny me that creativity. So anyway, so I've been sitting here in this trailer working on the components for the marketing with my virtual assistant, and then I'm doing other things as well. I wanted to sort of open up my freedom so that I could read and write, because those are my two favorite hobbies aside from hanging out with my grandkids. So I'm getting the best of all those worlds over here. And I just had a creative burst and thought, hey, I could do a podcast right now. And, and because it's raining and I can't go anywhere. And now as I do the podcast, I get it started, the rain stops. Isn't that like how life goes? You just kind of get on a path and you make a decision, and then all of a sudden you see a new opportunity. A lot of times we get caught in that new shiny object syndrome, and we lose track of where we want to go. But the thing is that, are we losing track of what we really wanted to do? Were we not that committed, or has life set us up for just being open and willing to forge a new path? Is it opportunity and options? Are we to be flexible and nimble, or do we stay the course no matter what obstacles occur? That depends. It really does. It really depends. One of the things that I have learned, and I learned this actually on a hike in Sedona, that as long as you can see the destination where you're going, as long as you know where you want to be, does it really matter what path you take? Some may take you longer. Some may have more difficult obstacles. Some may be really simple and easy, but that's your choice. That's your decision. And, I remember when I was young and, just kind of going through my divorce, and a very wise woman had said something about that we all create our own problems. And at the time, like I said, I was young and I was probably a little frustrated and a little upset because I'm going through a divorce. And I'm like, I didn't ask for this. But in reality, I did, didn't I? I chose to marry that person. I chose to stay with that person. I chose to have children with that person. So I did choose. I did decide the path that I took. Now, as I get older, or as I got older, and it came to relationships or jobs or work or where to live, I was making all of those decisions when it came to myself and my children. Now, did the path I took, something could have taken me a long way around or a short way around or whatever, but at least I knew one thing for sure. At the end of this journey, my children were going to know that they were loved by me, protected by me, guided by me, and raised by me. How we got there wasn't as important as the journey that we took together, and the ultimate in the destination once we got to the end of this journey. And we're still not at the end of the journey. My kids are raised and grown, but you get the picture, right? It didn't matter. See, like I said, it's like, no, we didn't have the same house that we lived in. My kids were not raised, in the same neighborhood, and they don't have, all of their same friends that they went to elementary school with. We moved a bit, but I was fortunate in my world when I got divorced that I already had a career that afforded me to be able to provide for my children. Sales. I got news for you people. The best job that you could probably ever do if you're going to be a single parent is to do a sales job, because you have total freedom and autonomy. And, depending on how hard you work, you can earn as much money as you want. Do I like sales? No, I like the revenue from sales. I didn't like the drudgery, the accountability as far as the numbers of calls you had to make in order, the statistics of it. I didn't like the transactional aspect of it. I do love the creativity part of it. I do love meeting new people. That part I do love, but I didn't like the aspect of sales. They didn't thrill me, but I was glad I had that skill. I remember I was looking for work up in Sacramento. And why Sacramento? Because it was still in California. I knew some people that were up in Sacramento. I had interviewed for work up there before. This was before I became a consultant, and I was going to go back into radio or stay in radio. But I wanted a different market. I'd never experienced anything outside of Victorville or Bakersfield. Obviously, we had a station in Bakersfield, but I hadn't really experienced the business world outside of those two communities, and I thought it was so different. I thought people have got to know more than I do. Anyway, so as I was interviewing for a job in Sacramento, I was interviewing for a sales job. But I had this extensive radio background, and I had been asked several times, well, why aren't you applying for a job on the air? And I said, well, because sales pays better. And I have 3 kids to support, and I don't want to be stuck behind a mic in a booth if some emergency happens with one of my children. But if I'm on a sales call or on a way to a sales call, that's a lot easier for me to cancel if I've got to go take care of an emergency with my kids. So for me, it was, was it career detrimental decision that I made not to become a radio personality, but to go into sales, which was a task that I didn't quite enjoy? Well, at the time, I looked at it as a matter of survival, right? I had children to take care of. I didn't really know much that was out there. I will tell you, I only lasted in the sales realm. I call it corporate radio, of working in a corporate radio station instead of my family's business. I only lasted 2 years doing that because I was a fish out of water. I did fine. I just didn't enjoy it, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is that I could have stayed in radio sales even after my heart issue if it was a matter of money. If I wanted to make a good living, I could have gone anywhere and sold radio advertising in any market and done just fine. But I didn't love it. I didn't love it. So when it came time for me to make a decision that, well, I've already had the rug pulled out from under me. I've already had my life and career entirely derailed. But for some reason, God gave me another chance because here I am feeling healthy. I want to make the best of it. I want to do what I want to do. I want to love what I do. And I knew at the time I loved helping people. That was part of the thing I loved about radio advertising sales, was that I was helping a business build their business. I loved that aspect of it. I loved talking to people and learning more about them and finding out about them and being creative. I loved that part. Psychotherapy was a great transition for me because a lot of advertising and marketing is psychological. Let's be real. So I already kind of had a lot of those principles ready for me. I knew how to listen actively. I knew how to come up with creative solution to solve your problems. I already knew how to do all these things. And so it was a great transition as I recalibrated my life after a major health crisis. So when I tell you that I know how to help you, I'm not just saying it because I went to school and got a degree. The degree was just the means to the end to give me the credibility to actually be able to do what I do. All right. But the heart was already there. It was there a long time ago. In fact, I think it's always been there, the heart to help, because as I look back and people have asked me, how long have you been coaching? All of my life, because it started out by teaching the neighborhood kids the dance steps that I had just learned at dance class when I was 7. And then I started coaching cheerleaders when I was 14. And then it's all, and I've trained salespeople and I've coached people in business forever, as a consultant, as a business owner. So it is what I love to do. And that is why I want, as I'm out here and I'm able to sort of like relax and have a different perspective, and I don't feel the pressures of going out and doing socialization or networking or the other marketing things that I go do. I'm not trying to make phone calls to schedule Mustang Monday videos or either, I've taken a pause on my dance party with Michelle's Place, but the grief class starts up in June. So I'm taking a break from things while I also have things that I've strategized and planned. So what I have for you, badass, is to hop on the bus to Badassville with my digital program and let me send you all of these other elements that are just going to help you get some new perspective so that you can recalibrate your life. It's not business, it's personal. That's right. It's not about your business. It's about you and your personal life. Too often people think that they've got to make a lot of money to be considered successful or that they achieved success. And I've got news for you. There's no amount of money in the world that is going to give you success if you're miserable. You can't really buy success. Now, I'm not saying that money is not important, because money will afford you the freedom to do the things that you enjoy. So we all want to earn a living. I'm not encouraging you to go into poverty, but I am encouraging you to, find what it is that you're passionate about. there is nothing that I can't handle. I have learned that. And I know that you have too. So when it comes time to making the change, let's talk about 10 reasons people might be one of those people who love what they do. All right. So let me ask you this. As I read this list, tell me if it sounds like you. All right. 10 reasons you might be one of those people who love what you do. You feel connected to the challenge and a sense of purpose. You maintained and integrated some of your childhood passions into your work life. You look at your career as if it was a portfolio of ups and downs, balanced perspective. You don't care what anybody thinks. You ignore the naysayers. You actively look for others to share your passions with and to teach. Your passion gives you freedom to seek more and new opportunities, never allowing you to feel stuck. You attract people to you without even trying. You live in the present moment. Nobody can stop you. And you envision a bright future, and you don't worry about competition. Does it sound like you? If it doesn't sound like you, I'd love to work with you, because this is me. This is how I feel about what I do. And I will say, I've not always done this, nor have I always felt this way about what I do. It is a process that takes a badass commitment. That's right. Remember the acronym of BADASS is be bold, be brave, be confident, be yourself. But how can you be yourself if you don't know yourself? So I'll teach you how you are uniquely different. You'll have what your core values might be, what your strategy might be, who you are. We can learn a little bit about your personality type and all that other stuff so that you know who you are. And then the A in badass stands for attitude is everything. And you need a positive one if you're going to succeed at anything. So I teach you about the importance of positive psychology and how to flip the format on your negative thinking. The D in badass stands for decide. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you're listening to this podcast, you've already done the D. You've decided that it's time for you to grow and succeed because you're listening to this right now. But the D, that's not enough. You got to stay dedicated and determined with your new discipline. I love the D's. And then the second A in badass stands for awareness, where this is where I teach emotional intelligence, how nostalgia can boost your mood, and being aware of other people's feelings as well as your own emotions. And then how to regulate them, get them under control, because your emotions should not ever control you. You can get your emotions under control. You can feel the big feels, but you can limit how you express it to others if necessary. All right? The S in badass stands for steadfastly stay the course. Even though we need to be flexible and nimble, we stay the course because even though something we want doesn't happen quickly enough, we want to give up. But if the goal is important enough to you, it doesn't matter how long it takes to get there. I'll tell you the truth. My deep, not secret, my deep, what do you call that? Sincere, sacred dream is to be an author, a writer, making money doing that. I am an author. I am a writer. I have 5 published books. My 6th one is on its way. I have many, many more I want to write. Doesn't matter how long it takes me to get there. I write all the time. What's your sacred dream about your life? Stay the course, no matter how long it takes you to get there. I'm glad I was able to join you today on this, I don't know, I call it a beautiful day in Texas. It really is. But I'm going to be broadcasting and podcasting from a trailer in Texas for a couple of more weeks. So I may have more for you as I have, as I have more time on my hands and more to say, because I'm less involved in the details of my day-to-day at home. I've left my parents to caregivers. I'm trusting God and the universe that they are fine and that they'll be okay and that I can enjoy this time, this season of my life as a grandparent. So it is all about balance and seeking what it is that you need and knowing the difference and not allowing yourself to get hung up or stuck in overwhelming obligations because of what? Because you think that you need to do that? All right. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not promoting that you just drop everything, but if your life has already been ripped out from under you, it's time for you to make some strategies for growth and innovation. That's right. Self-knowledge, personal intelligence, your intentions, your traits, your motives, your life stories, your memories, your identity, your future self. Prepare to be lucky. Take advantage of the right place and the right time. All right? So, that's it for me. Until next time, I don't even know when it'll be. Maybe later this week, maybe next week. I don't know. That's a beautiful thing about having successful badassery is I am in control of where I'm headed, and I want for you to be too. So let's just start out with the Badass Habits ebook. Snag your Badass Habits ebook. Get on my email list because all the rest of this month, I'm going to be telling you about the summer program, and I only want 5 or 10 people. So if you want to be one of those 5 people to hop on the bus to Badassville, I suggest we get started like right away.
When the bus arrives at Badassville, you discover it's not a place, it's a state of being. Snag your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com. Hop on the bus to Badassville.